Hi, it's Amanda again, coming to you live from the floor of my apartment to share part 2 of my time capsule portfolio video. In this video, I'm going to share with you the artwork that I submitted to the Art Institute of Houston to get my whopping $250 scholarship. And then I will share with you the story of my one assignment that I completed at the Art Institute of Houston before summarily dropping out and going to community college. So I hope you enjoy this video and learn a little thing or two about how art portfolios were submitted in the 90s. So as you can see here, I have this scholarship award from the Art Institute of Houston, just in case anybody needed verification that I am in fact a real artist. This is dated February 28th, 1998, and it represents one $250 scholarship to be applied towards tuition at the Art Institute of Houston in recognition of outstanding portfolio presentation. And I have to say, if I knew then what I know now, and I see that it's called Motivation and Creative Merit in Pursuit of Career Education, I feel like maybe then I would have realized it's like, oh, girl, you tried it. But alas, I did get this $250 scholarship, and I did use it. It didn't get me very far, I'll tell you that much. But I will today show you some of the pieces that I put together for this incredible scholarship for the Art Institute of Houston. And then I will show you my one project that I completed at the school before I summarily had to turn and run from school. So kicking it off here, you can see that I have a sketch drawing of many sketch drawings that I have of a sculpture that my art teacher made in the middle of our art class. And if you saw video 1, I have tons like this. It is comprised of mannequins and fabric and fake flowers and bike parts and bones and all kinds of interesting pieces amalgamated into a monstrosity. And apparently this was my best work. You can see that I did do some interesting stuff with the like fabric here, like just kind of like the form. And you can see that I did work on the fabric and just like interpreting the curvature and the folds of the fabric there. So I was pretty impressed with that. You can tell this is a little bit worse for wear. Essentially what I do for these is I had to do some sort of shrink wrap. And what you do is you take your mat board, you put your piece on the mat board, and then you take this kind of like shrink wrap and you tape just regular like masking tape to the back. I mean, this is some shoddy work here, but then you take a heat gun to it and it shrink wraps your piece. So at the time, I guess back then, this was a perfectly fine and normal way to do things. So that's one piece, but you can see it did not stand the test of time in terms of the plastic part. Again, another student drawing that I did. So we did lots of figure drawings of students in the class. And this is, I think this is my friend Tiffany. And you can see, if you look at video 1, I tend to draw people pretty much the same in class. Like I definitely had a stylized way of interpreting the face, and I don't know, you'll have to tell me as far as like facial proportions and things, if this was just my way of doing things or I just really did not grasp proportions and stuff like that of the face. But I don't know. My art teacher was super impressed with the way I drew people. I've yet to get it, but I'm not mad at this. I like this drawing. Here's another one. Another one I did of another student in class. Again, interesting choice of colors and stuff. I think it's interesting the way the colors turned out on this one. Here is a value drawing I did of Lars Ulrich from Metallica. Not entirely sure why I picked Metallica. I did listen to them a lot in middle school. It probably had to do with the photo itself and it just being like a good one to use in terms of like capturing shadows and things like that. And that's probably why I chose this. But one of my best drawings of people. And it looks like him, so can't complain too much, I don't think. So good example of like shading and value and my understanding of all that. Here's some Nike shoes from the 90s. Line drawing with some shading and value and all that good stuff. Again, some of my best work, really. This one, I hope you'll be able to see, mind the crackling here of the plastic, but this one is like oil pastel of a cat. I'm about ready to take this saran wrap or whatever it is, shrink wrap off of this because it is actually a really cute drawing. I didn't finish it. I'm pretty sure most of the sessions were timed. So we got to do what we got to do in terms of drawing, which is a good exercise. But I never did get around to finishing this cat, but I really liked it. So I insisted on submitting it with my work. Here's some more drawings, line drawings. I'm not entirely sure what direction this is supposed to go in. I bet this is it, right? It's a hand, it's grabbing a cheese grater, iron, I don't know. It looks like some kind of bottle piece or something like that. So I have no idea the context in which this drawing was created, quite frankly. More hands holding things, hands holding flowers. I think this is the right way it goes. That is a that is a gnarly hand, let me tell you. But I do actually like the way the flowers came out on this one. And again, it's kind of like these timed exercises. You get to do these like quick sketches, so it's a good exercise to see where you're at. And I guess the art schools just wanted to know that you have done these exercises, so you're familiar with like different fundamentals and things like that. I have like a color study. This is with watercolor. My first foray into watercolor, probably in the late 90s, is my art teacher had me do an assignment where we take a picture, we cut it up, and then you rearrange the squares, and then you try to find like the strongest like color value and make yourself like a chart of that. So yeah. My first foray into watercolor, you can tell I've come a long way since then, that's for sure. This is a fun one. Again, it's another one of those things where you kind of rearrange an existing piece. So we did a drawing. We cut it into pieces and then like rearrange like the circles. So you can see I cut it into circles and rearranged it. And then you kind of redraw it using different techniques. So like one layer is the stippling, which is really cool. And then the other layer is just like regular, just like color and shading. And I think this is also watercolor too, and ink. And I actually really like how this one turned out too. So I can see why I entered this one in. No complaints. No complaints with this one. And another figure drawing here. Look at that face. You know, as much as I like how this drawing turned out, like, I like how it's kind of elongated like that. I'm pretty sure my art teacher dug it too. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's what they mean when you say stylize, because the proportions of the face are, and the body, everything is just, it's way off, but still like a really cool, like, picture. I don't know. I like it. So I can see why I did that one too. This is a big one, so I don't know if this is all gonna show up in one. Oh, now it's completely out now. It's out of the shrink wrap, y'all. It's just another figure drawing of a classmate, and she's holding paper. So I'm guessing what it is I'm drawing her, drawing something else. That's what I'm gonna guess happened here. If you remember from video 1, I had those huge sheets of paper that we used to draw on. So this looks like a roll of that stuff that she was drawing with. Yeah. Fashion in the 90s. There it is. We're just going to set this over here. It did not survive the test of time. Here is apparently my best work of graphic arts. If you recall from video 1 as well, I did a lot of graphic art classes. So I made like a little report for my graphic arts class about my friend Carrie. And you can see that this shrink wrap did not protect it from any kind of moisture or time or anything like that. So it's not in great shape now. But I guess, you know, I did some cool little techniques and stuff, and yeah. You can probably tell by my thumbnails I haven't gotten any better at like graphic design or anything like that. So, you know, I tried it. That's all I can say about that. Here's a letter I submitted. I think I submitted this with the portfolio, just kind of talking about my art experience and all the things that I used to do. So I talk about just doing general art, drawing, painting, sculpture, art history, electronic media. And I talk about all the different like fundamentals that I learned, like gesture and contour drawing, perspective, drawing from life. So everything I've mentioned earlier, right? All the different kinds of media that I've used and all that sorts of things. So then I think I talk a little bit about the programs that I got to use. So I got to use some cool stuff in high school: Corel Draw, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, and everybody's like, Adobe Photoshop, but okay, back then it was new. So yeah, everybody knows what Photoshop is now. Quark Express, I don't know if that exists anymore. Somebody will have to tell me. And I remember one of these is like the program that they used to make Titanic, the movie, and I remember being super impressed by that, but I don't know which one that is. So yeah, and then I talk a little bit about my work history and that sort of thing. So it's a nice little summarization of the potential future that I thought I had as this really prolific, vastly knowledgeable artist with the bright future. Speaking of bright futures, I'll show my one assignment from the Art Institute of Houston. Little backstory on this. Like I said, I made it one semester, and the first assignment that I did was to create a character. I went to school, by the way, for animation, computer animation. I thought it would be really cool to get into that sort of thing. You know, this is when Pixar was just taking off. Like I said, Titanic was a thing. Everybody was talking about the future of CGI and all that good stuff, right? And then, of course, video game design and all that's good stuff. So even though my art style really reflected more of like, studying fundamentals and fine arts, I thought, oh man, I really want to do animation or like, CGI stuff. That would be so cool. And that's like where the future is at, right? So I went to the Art Institute of Houston. My first assignment was to create a character. This is that character. So I had to create a little backstory for it. And as you can see, I had to create like the character from different angles. And then I had to animate it so you can see it's me trying to get him to like walk. And then outlining like the simple shapes of the character. So very clever of me. This character's name is Dotson. He's supposed to be a canine version of Watson. See what I did there? So if Sherlock Holmes was a dog, this would be his companion. And at the time, well, now actually, maybe not at the time. I actually wasn't super impressed with myself at the time. At the time, I pretty much knew I was going to fail this assignment. I was like, oh no, I've gotten too big for my britches. I am in the largest of ponds. But looking at him now, I think he's kind of cute. And if I had stuck with it, I could have done something with this character, but at any rate, I created a little backstory for him. I tried to do like show him like walking and all that sort of things. And, I didn't do a lot of study on like the form of canine, so I think I was definitely lacking in the skills for this. I did find myself to be around a lot of students that had already done a lot of studying of animals and humans and characters and things, because a lot of people were like drawing anime. A lot of the people in my classes were like big anime kids, and I was an anime kid too, but I never learned to draw that style. That wasn't for me, but a lot of the students were already drawing like comics and anime. And so like they were way ahead of the game, because when you learn that stuff, you learn things like different angles and body proportions and how to draw different animals and all that stuff. So like seriously, no shade. I didn't even occur to me that trying to learn some style like that might help me, in the field of computer animation. Go figure. But at any rate, I think the grade for this is on the back. I think I got a C. Oh no, it's gone from the back, but I did find the little sticky note. I got a C on this. I thought I got a D, so I actually did a lot better than I thought I did. So yeah, those were the submissions to the Art Institute of Houston. This is the one assignment I did, and when I realized, okay, well, this isn't for me. And like I said, didn't really have a way to pay for it. Really wasn't able to keep a good, steady job. And so I was like, okay, I'm literally putting my tail between my legs and I'm going home. And I did. So in the next video, I will show you some of the fundamental studies that I did once I went to community college back in San Antonio, my hometown. And I think that experience of doing art classes at community college was way better than any of the experiences that I had learning art. And I still really appreciate those studies and really enjoy them to this day. So I hope you will tune in to the next video and I will show you some of those pieces. All right, thanks again for watching and bye for now.